Do you think that the ABC was successful in suckering the middle of the road guy into thinking Kamala's amazing, Trump keeps lying?
Well, I think that's exactly the way to ask the question is, if you're a liberal, if you're a committed leftist, a committed Democrat, you loved the debate last night. You're thinking, oh, they finally put Trump in his place and they fact check him in real time. This is back to Candy Crowley of 2012, which, by the way, we had all thought that in 2012, Candy Crowley, this was supposed to be the unwritten rule that the moderators don't get involved in the debates. And it really has kind of been that way for almost every debate since, though I would also hold my fire when it comes to Chris Wallace cutting off President Trump when he brought up the Hunter Biden laptop in 2020. And I'm not going to let him walk away from that one. But when we see this, the question then, of course, comes back to, and so sure, the liberals love the debate because they see Trump getting beat up. The conservatives look at it and say, well, wait a minute, you're all just ganging up on him and you're not even fact-checking her at all. 0 times, by the way, 0 fact checks and 0 hard pushbacks or follow-ups from your or Lindsey Davis last night. And then the question, of course, comes down to these undecideds, these middle-of-the-road people who are voting with their wallets. And honestly, for people who are voting with their wallets, I don't think there was much information there for them because they barely talked about the economy. They barely talked about grocery prices. They barely talked about any of the issues of gasoline or the job market, the fact, and Trump, you can hear him, by the way, trying to bring this up. You lied about the jobs numbers. You lied about 1 million jobs coming in. All of these jobs are going to the illegals. And then again, he just keeps getting inundated with this corporate media blanket of sort of I guess you could call it a reality distortion filter, where he's talking about things that are actually true, by the way. The Bureau of Labor Statistics coming out and having to revise their numbers by almost 1 million jobs. Talking about, I thought he had a great line about he called them bounce back jobs. Well, those were bounce back jobs that you got when you say you created jobs. No, that was the lockdowns took away the jobs. Those jobs were simply returning to parity. So he's trying to actually make serious points about the economics. Thomas Sowell probably would have loved that discussion, but instead they play all these games and completely talk over him. And so if you're an undecided voter, I would have to say you came away with that being very perplexed. And you might say, well, I don't know if anyone won the debate, but the economy's bad. And Trump had the best line at the very end, his best line of the entire thing. I do wish he had said it earlier, but his best line of the entire thing, and I can understand why he didn't, because he's dealing with all of that, was, if you can do all of these wonderful things, why don't you do it right now? Why haven't you done it for the past 4 years?